Ramirez, your host of Stand Out and Grow. I want to help your business stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. Building your business is really, really hard. And knowing what marketing and advertising tools you need to help you become successful is extremely confusing. After 30 years of working with thousands of businesses, I am here to help you make good business decisions. I want to help you understand the programs that are available to you so that you can stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. So let's get started. Hey there, this is Kat Ramirez, CEO and founder of adBidtise and hashtag Social Buzz. It is Monday. Woo! And so I thought I'd come on today. This is a topic I've talked about before, but I feel like it's a great topic to talk about again, just because, you know, social media is like on overdrive. And so we're all on it. And I think, you know, to remind people, you know, if you're a business coach, a leader, entrepreneur, small business, consultant, whatever the case may be, and you're trying to create a brand for yourself or your business and really put yourself out there, then the best thing to have or to complement you is to have original content. And I don't think people sometimes understand that original content is really powerful, especially on social media, because social media is really heavily dependent on original content. So what is original content and what does that mean? And how does it affect social media and why is this so important? So let's talk about the nuts and bolts of social media and any social media. It doesn't matter if you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, whatever the case may be. They all work and function the same. And they're all very dependent on original content from each and every one of us. They would not exist today if they didn't have us, the people that are on social media, supplying content. And so that's why it is so important to have and create your own original content so that you can have something that's out there being pushed around and hopefully, you know, go viral if at all possible, so that you have a presence and then you make your mark. So original content. That's what we're talking about. If you saw my notes, I'm going to give you some ways on how you can create original content if you're struggling with it, because we can all share content. So you can go find an article or a blog about, you know, if you're an accountant, on some tips on how, you know, to save money or how to use this app to do this. Or you can share a meme or some quote, you know, from somebody. So those are all great content fillers, but you really do need original content because that's going to be what sets you up for a lot of great things. And I'm just going to talk about some of the benefits. And before I talk about them, and then Troy says you have great creative and you have to get creative and create your own content. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. And you have to have fun with it. So you have to put it out there. Okay. So let's talk about some reasons why you need original and your content. Okay. So there's a few reasons why. And again, original content refers to that this is your content. So whether it is a text, whether it's a quote, or whether it is a video, this is yours. It belongs to you. You created, you did it. It's about you or about something that you're related to. Okay. So that's your true original content. That's what original content means. Okay. And you can do original content in so many different various ways, and we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about why is this important, and why you should have original content besides social media needing it, because they wouldn't exist without you. So the first one is it improves your search and ranking. And so the link building efforts that are in play when you have your own original content and when it's put out there and used properly. Okay. So it helps you in Google search and ranking. Okay. And then it creates authority and it increases your credibility. Everybody wants to be credible, right? So how cool is it to have, increase your authority and increase and establish your credibility? Okay. And then it can go viral. So it can help you in the fact that people will share it and comment on it, and you should encourage people to share it and comment. And maybe it's a topic or something that is hot and they will automatically do it no matter what, because people have an affinity for it. So they'll be able to relate to your original content. And then you could possibly get an influencer who might utilize your original content. So there could be other people who would use your original content and share it. And that's the whole purpose of it, is because if you're seen, establish yourself as an authority and you create credibility, people will then come to you and start sharing your content and going to you as an expert in your field. Okay. So these are a few reasons why you need original content. Okay, so let's talk about some ways you can create original content, because, a lot of people are challenged by the different ways that you can create original content. That's the whole purpose of original content, is you want that your voice of opinion out there and what your stance is for a situation, and, so one person might think this way and another person this way, and you want to put in what your disposition is, because that's original content. Okay. So what are some forms of original content? Blog is the first and foremost. And a blog does not have to be people always ask me about word count, so they're like, oh, I want to write a blog, but I'm not sure because, I'm not used to writing, long forms of, dialogue. And so, your blog is yours. Okay. I think Google wants, don't quote me on this because I have it somewhere, and don't quote me. I think the average is 300 word count. And so, but Google does have a word count for their blogs. But as long as you have someone who sets up your blogs and they make sure that they put all the SEO on the back end and your backlinks and all of that stuff, you should be good to go. So if you have an SEO person and you're writing blogs, they should be able to set you up just fine. Okay. But blogs is original content. That is one of the key ways that you can put yourself out there and establish credibility. So blogs, and that's just writing out what, and then, okay. So that's another question, is people are like, what's the content, Kat? What do I put out there? Well, it's as easy as the frequently, and I say this over and over and over, and I'll say it again, it's easy as the frequently asked questions that you're asked over and over and over. So when you hear this reoccurring question over and over and over, then that is a blog opportunity, because then you're going to answer a lot of other people's questions at one time. Just one time you can answer all these questions, and you may never know. That might be the one blog that really takes off and, establish you as a credible person. Just never know until you put it out there and do that. So other ways to come up with your topics are if you're following peers that are leaders in your business category or industry. And what are they talking about? And that's what you can talk about. So you're not copying their content. You're looking at the topic that they're talking about. And that's how you're creating your topic. Okay. So I'm not talking about copying people's content. I'm talking about, what are they talking about? And then you're going to be an extension of that. And then you're going to come up with your content based on that information. Okay. So blogs is one way. Another way to come up with your own original content is to do lives, just like I'm doing here. So you create your own lives. You're going to talk to people and you're going to educate them about something that is in your industry, like I'm talking about, why you should have original content. Or you're going to talk about the importance of something, or you're going to talk about the current affairs of something, okay? So you can create live video so that is your original content. Here's the cool thing with your own videos, whether they're live or pre-recorded, either way. Live can be diced up. So you can make micro content out of it. So if you're talking about a topic like I am, and you're talking about why you should create original content, and then I talk about the different aspects of it, I can cut those up and make those micro content that I could use on social media. So it becomes evergreen. This is awesome, right? Because you want to be able to use content. You want a form of content that you can break up and use on a lot of different places. So rather than just have one piece of content that you just created, let's say that you share that content and that one original content. So let's say it's this video and I hit on why you should create original content. Then I touched on what are the different forms of original content. And then I touched on how you or the topics that you create the original content on. That's 3 different pieces of content that I created with one content. That's a lot. And then I could dice that up and share that on all my social media, and I would, slice and dice it. So that's what I'm talking about with original content. So when it's yours and your content and you're the one that's giving the expert advice and you're talking, then that's the content that you own that you can slice and dice and put out there on a lot of different platforms. Okay. So we talked about blogs. We talked about doing some live video, and it can be pre-recorded. You're not as likely on pre-recorded to slice and dice the pre-recorded, but the live, yes, you can, because you're on, you're ad-libbing and you're talking about your topics. And then other things that you can create, as I had alluded to and talked about, were if you have pointers on that you're going to give, here are my, this is my one tip today, things like that. Those are your original contents, but that has to come from you, and it has to be your original tip, not something that you regurgitated from someone else. Okay. Don't try to take someone else's tip and regurgitate it. Oh my God. Because you have to source it then, and you have to give them credit. Okay. So other ways to create original content. And so I talk about this because I did have a client on once, and they were so excited because they loved what they did with me. And they're like, oh, I wish I could create more videos. And I said, you can. And not just videos, podcasts or other stuff. You just have to find people who are doing live videos or live podcasts or just podcasts in general. And if you have to align with their industry, and it has to be a good fit. And you just find these people and ask to be a guest on their show. So here's what I will tell you. As a podcaster, as a live video producer, is I am always looking for someone to talk to have on my show. It helps build credibility for me, because if you just saw me over and over all the time, over and over and over, I would think that at some point you would be like, oh my God, Kat is so full of herself. She just keeps talking and on and on and on. Whereas when I have, experts in their field who come on as guests sharing their stories, then I have this human, right? This human kind of effect where, I'm relating to them. And especially if I can totally relate to them and I have done what they did, or I have been in their industry or anything like that. Okay. So I'm totally, totally relatable, and they are too. And so again, we're building credibility. So if you don't have original content and you are okay with being on somebody else's, if you're afraid of the camera, being on podcasts, there are a lot of people doing podcasts, and just go and research and start searching these people who are doing podcasts. Cause I tell you, they are looking for guests. They are. I promise you. There are a lot of people who do podcasts. They're looking for guests. It's not like they're just sitting there twiddling their thumbs, like saying, oh, I don't want a guest. Or do I? No, I don't. No, they don't. They love having guests. I promise you. And the same for people who do live casts. So they are also looking for guests because, again, it helps their credibility. So if you're searching around and you don't mind doing either lives or podcasts, that helps build now your original content, because now you can use that and put that on your website. You can slice and dice that information and put it on your social media, and you can market this because, of course, you're going to give credit to the person who invited you on the live or podcast, because you have to, this information, this content wouldn't have existed without them. Plus, it's a great courtesy back to them. You always want to make sure you give credit to your podcast. Host, so that it is a win-win for both of you. And that works out really, really well. So being on other people's lives or podcasts is another great way to create original content. It is a win-win for both of you. Okay. So so how do you find what kind of content your audience likes? So we talked a little bit about frequently asked questions. We talked a little bit about looking at what the industry peers are talking about. You can do your research, and you should be following the peers in your industry and listening to what their topics are and what they're talking about. The other thing you can do is you can also purchase research tools that will tell you. And one of them that comes top of mind is like BuzzSumo, which is like Google for just searches shared content. So it looks for the strongest shared content. So these are topics that are highly shared. And so something like that can help you figure out, what do I talk about? Well, you talk about stuff that's being highly shared because that's good content. But you're going to make it your own. You're going to talk about it yourself. You're not going to, plagiarize and use somebody else's content. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, people. I'm saying we're talking about your original content, but we're also talking about, how do you come up with the topics? How do you come up with what are you going to talk about, right? Whether it's your blog, whether it is your video, or whether it's your live cast or podcast. Okay. And then you can also research and follow the trends, just the general trends in your industry. So if there are any kind of publications or trades that you follow, then, start reading them and seeing what are they talking about, because they're doing the research too to find out what people want to talk about. And so that is going to help you as well. But this topic was about creating original content, because at the end of the day, if you're using social media is heavily dependent on each of us to come up with our own original content. That's why the stories on Facebook and Instagram do so well. It's original content. It's you. It's a story about you. And that's why live streaming does really well. Okay, because this is original. It's original. It's original content. So if you think about the dynamics of social media and you think about how they're so dependent on each of us to come up with our own original content, that's the win-win for everyone. And so if you look at some of the trade leaders in your industry, which I follow some of the trade leaders in mine, more and more of them are doing live streaming. So I did it before them, though. I did it. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, so basically what I'm telling you is that original content is really good. You should have it. Okay. And you just need to figure out what kind of original content am I going to come up with? Is it going to be a blog? Is it going to be video? Is it going to be a podcast? Is it going to be live streaming? What is my original content? And it could be a combination of all of that. And then you need to figure out what is the topic. What do people want to hear? So you can search it, research it. You can use tools. You can ask your audience. Here's the cool thing. If you're part of a group, I'm part of a bunch of groups, and I respond to a lot of questions people ask. And then I'm always inclined and intrigued by the questions that get the biggest response. And so I'm always like, ooh, I should have asked that. That was a good question. Look at that response. But I'm tuned into it because I'm like, I'm going to ask a question like that next time. So I get a big response. But this only happens in groups when you can do that. But then that's content for you. Because I know I wrote down all the answers one time from one of them because I was like, ooh, that's a good question for my podcast. Wow. Look at all this content. Yay. I was in frenzy. You can also look at your analytics. So, look at the strongest posts that you've had on all your social media. And maybe that is a topic. If you had a strong share, engagement, following, what have you on one of your posts in social media, that's your topic then. You just found it, okay? So use your analytics. And then I talked about, using peers, using tools, and then following trends. Those are all great ways to find out what topic should you be talking about, besides the fact of what are you being asked over and over and over every day in your business or your industry, because that is an education opportunity, and that's good original content for you to put that out there, whether that's in a blog, a video, or some other format. Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to share today. And I thought, maybe I can make this one short and sweet. So just get to the point so that everybody has some good information in order to take them and create their own original content. Because again, I can't emphasize this enough. Social media would not be here without you and our original content. It needs it. It has to have it. It needs to survive, because without it, it's just a platform with nothing on it except a bunch of people waiting for somebody to share something. Yeah, I wish I was there in the beginning and I would have shared something and and then I would share something over and over and over in the beginning. I would have monopolized it. Yay. Anyways, if you have any questions, again, drop me a line. I appreciate you watching and tuning in. If you know someone who can benefit from this, please tag them so that they get to connect and watch this video and learn a little bit about creating their own original content. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I do. Thank you again. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. Happy to help out and happy to give you some feedback as well on anything that you get or challenged with for original content. So again, this is Kat Ramirez. I am CEO and founder of adBidtise and #SocialBuzz. Hope you're having a great Monday, and I hope it's a great start to the week for you. And I look forward to seeing your original content. Tag me. Happy to see it. I would love to see it. And as I always end this, you got this. And until next time, I will see you soon. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Stand Out and Grow. Check out all the notes and links at www.standoutandgrow.com. I am so thankful to you for helping this show continue to grow. I want to keep producing content that you want to hear, so please leave me some feedback. I look forward to bringing you more resources and information to help your business stand out and grow. Please follow us on social media and make sure you follow this podcast so you can learn more about helping your business stand out, survive, succeed, and grow. Until next time, you got
adBidtise
this.
helps businesses stand out and grow with affordable advertising options. We will help you make good business decisions so you can save money and not just throw it against the wall to see if it sticks. Get your free strategic advertising analysis today so you can see the opportunities to stand out and grow your business. Visit www.standoutandgrow.com offers page to learn more.